Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Deborah, and today I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the cover for this journal, which is my gentleman's journal. But I also wanted to show you some new stamps that I picked up the other day. So these are Tim Holtz stamps, and they're called Merchant CMS 331 if you're looking for them. It's just a bunch of numbers, dollars, signs, pound signs, you know, all sorts of different sized numbers. Now I have the number stamps, which are the large ones, 0 through 9 in the Tim Holtz stamps. But I saw this and there was a sale on, so that's probably why I got them, because I love a good bargain. So that's my new stamp set, and I think I'll just do a little bit of stamping before I get going on my project. So this paper that I'm using today for my project is called stone paper. It's Stamperia, and you can see here they've actually made a handbag out of it. It's really tough, and it's like flexible, so you can fold it. So I have it in an A4. You can get also an A3, which for this project might be better, but I'm going to do the A4 because the other thing you can do is you can sew it. So I've got this scrap that's left over from another project, and I can sew an extension on the end here, and so it's going to be wide enough to wrap around. The height is great. It's just the width that I need a bit more, and I could even bring it all the way around maybe and put some sort of closure or whatever on it. Now the paper has two sides. It's kind of got this side that's a little bit rough, and then it's got one that's much smoother. And I'm going to use some inks and things on that. But I thought first of all I'd just try and stamp a couple of these stamps, because I'm not sure how they'll go on this stone paper. I'm going to stay away from this section. That is the section that I want to use as my extension. I'll use the new piece plus the bit here. But I figured that I could probably just stamp a couple of things to start with and see how that goes. Just give you a look at the new stamps. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sets in different sizes, and as I said, I've also got the ones that are around about that big, each of the numbers. So this will be a good addition. I do try not to buy things, but I saw these and thought, well, you know, they're having a sale, it's really cute, why don't I just sort of buy them and be done with it, get them while they're on special. So they ink up really well. That's a good start. And then I think I'm going to have to go up this way. So I'll just see if don't think I've stamped on that before. No, that's fine. It takes it actually really well. So you can see it's a nice number. It's got a bit of a vintagey feel because not all of the things are filled in. So I'll show you what I mean by that. That 3, trying to put it in the wrong way there. So you can see with the 7, it's got some gaps in the actual number. Bring that up so I can show you better. And I'm thinking when I stamp that that's going to be reflected in what comes out. So we'll try it and see what it's like, because there shouldn't be any ink on that part of the stamp. So you'll get a sort of, you know, grungier look, which is good because I like that look. That one's a slightly bigger stamp, that one. And you can see there, I've got some of the actual stamp is missing. So you get that grungy look. I don't know if you're having trouble seeing that, but I'll bring it up to show you. So you can see that 7 has got bits missing off it. And I like that, so that's going to be good. So I'm really happy with those actually. I think that they're quite good in terms of a new set of stamps, although as usual I said I don't need anything, but there was only one of these left on the shelf, and I thought, well, I may as well just get them, because I will use them. They will be incredibly useful for me. Now, the trick with using the stone paper is, and you can see on the cover here, it says you can sew it, you can ink it, you can put mixed media over it, you can stamp on it. There's lots of things you can do with this. But I find the trick to this, if you're going to put moisture on here, you need to make sure that it's not too wet. So I found that in the past, if you add too much dampness to it, then the things like the oxides don't react very well if you do that. So I'm just going to clean off my little brush. I've got this, it's just a little makeup brush. It's fairly dense, and so when I start going like that, you'll see it'll come up quite nicely. And I'm also going to use my salvage patina, which I haven't actually even opened yet. So this is a good project to get your oxides out. You don't have to use oxides. I just like oxides. You can use your distress inks. It's just the pigment in the distress inks is a bit more, they're more transparent. So I'm going to have a go on this piece first, because if I don't like what I've done, I can also just sew some paper and stuff over the top. It won't be a problem. And I've got 3 colours. I've got shaded lilac, which is, as I can see here, completely gone everywhere. I do store them sitting level. It must have been slightly off level. I'm not sure what's happened there. I know a lot of people store their inks on their side, but I've never had much luck at doing that. So what I'm going to do is just get some ink on here for a start, and then I'm just going to go round in some little circular motions so that I get some transferred from the brush to the stone paper. Now this brush, it's dense, but it's very, very soft, and so what you'll get if you use something like this as opposed to another type of sponge is you'll get a soft look, very, very soft and subtle. You won't get a really, you know, you won't get those hard edges. So if you need more than what you're getting, you just have to go back around and do it again, and it will build up. So building up that colour rather than just going in once with your colour. Just wipe this lid off, because it too, for some reason, is very leaky. I'm not sure what's happening here. As I said, I really try not to put my oxides on an angle, and yet I know people do, and they say they don't leak, so I don't know why mine have gone like that. Now, between applications, if you're using a brush like this, you have to wipe it off, and I do that on a paper towel. You can also do it if you've got like an old hand towel or something like that, or a bath mat or whatever. I just use paper towel and it will come off pretty easily. I thought that this might look really pretty with it, of course, green and purple. Beautiful colours, especially this one. This colour I'm using is crushed olive, which I just love. And if you just build that up, and of course the harder you go into your ink pad, the more the ink's going to come to the surface and get onto your tool, that whatever tool you happen to be using. So put that around and then just wipe it off again, and you can see that the ink is coming off onto the paper towel there. Just give it a wipe, because we don't want to transfer this ink onto the next ink pad. And I'm going to put some salvage patina down. This is one of his newer colours. I didn't get the blue ribbon. Blue's not really my colour, and that's why I didn't get it, but there's no reason why I can't get it. I just sort of thought I was going to get it the other day, and then I went, well, do I really need it? And I don't think I do really. But so that's why I ended up getting just this salvage patina a couple of weeks ago, and I really haven't done anything with it. Now, I like those colours together, and I like these colours together, but I don't know if I like those two together. Just seeing if I should put some more of the shaded lilac down on it. I think I will do that. Now I've gone in fairly hard with my brush then, so I'm getting a really, really wet looking ink, which is good. That's what I want. Now you probably think this is a bit weird just putting blobs of colour over it, but once I attack it with the water, you'll see that it'll start to look very different. And don't forget that with your oxides, you can put layer on layer on layer, and the colour on top will be the one that comes through. With your inks, with your distress inks, that's not the case. If you keep layering up your distress inks, eventually you'll get brown, because once you mix all the paint colours, all the different colours together, in any medium, not just distress oxides, the colour that you end up with is brown. Whereas with the oxides, they lay on top of one another, and so you won't get brown if you keep going back in, provided they're not wet when you put the next layer on. So I think that's all right to show you the next part. I'll just pop those over there. And then take your water. Now I'm using Couture Creations, just a spray bottle. It's a little bit like the Tim Holtz one. It's just I couldn't get the Tim Holtz one at the time. And so then you just spray. Now, as I said, you need to be careful how much you put on. And also I'm looking to get some sort of blobs going rather than just the spray. I do want some blobs because the blobs will really bring out that oxide, make it actually oxidize, which is what they're renowned for. So if you're using them, you can just use them as a normal ink, but the beauty of them is that they will oxide, and you can see that happening here. And probably not so much on the yellow, but certainly on the purple, and hopefully on the green here as well, or that salvage patina. You can see that that's actually oxidizing. I'll bring that up to the camera so you can watch that happening. You can see that it's kind of making them go into an oxidization mode, and you're getting that speckledy look. Now, if you don't want that wetness on there and you don't want it to spread, just use your paper towel to dab it off. And you'll see as I'm taking that off, I'm getting a nice look through there. Now, of course, if you don't like this look, then you don't have to do this. It's just something I thought might be nice to have some different colours and things on the front and to make them oxidise like this. Now, you can go in again, but as I said, be careful with your water, because if you soak your stone paper, and it is very possible that you can soak it, the more water you put on it, then you will find that it's harder to make this process happen. That's been my experience in the past. So if that's what you want, just keep going, but you need to be careful, in my opinion, about doing that, or you'll end up with this oxidization not working for you. So I think I'll put a little bit more on, and then the plan would be to perhaps do some sewing on them. I certainly have to sew the front to the back. So this will be like the front, the back probably. I think this will be on the back, this bit here. And then I'll have the new piece I've got there will be on the front. So I'm just going to put some more purple down, and I definitely need to put some more of that crushed olive down while I've got this out here. Because if I don't, I'm going to find that it's not going to be colourful enough. It's always a danger with me because, you know, I'm not really, don't like the super colourful stuff. I think that's why I love these sorts of colours. Even though it's colourful, it's not like hot pink or something like that, although I don't mind a bit of hot pink now and then. But for this particular one, I wanted to keep these sort of muted, muddy, you know, this muddy coloured olive shade more than anything. And then I'll do some of the lovely salvage patina as well. I'm going to go in again with my thing and spray it. Try and get those bigger blobs happening because I like those. Just let that do its thing for a moment, and then I'm going to put the tissue down and take it off. You can leave it and you'll get that darker ring around the edge of the patch, but if you take it off with the tissue, you'll get these whiter patches coming through. You can see there how I'm picking those up. I'm just going to go back over this purple again, and you'll see, I'm just showing you that the oxide will hide whatever's underneath it. You can see that my drips and things have now gone. So if I want them back on, I will need to redo it again. Now this one here is a little bit pale, so I'm going to put a bit more of that on. And then I'll put some more water on and take some of that off again. Now, I am by no means an expert with oxides in any way, shape or form. I'm just sharing with you what I've found in the past, what happens when you do things like this, and particularly with the stone paper, where I find if you wet it too much, I don't know what happens to it, but it won't really take and won't really work that well anymore. So I'm just going to dab off some of this that I put on before. Now you can also do stenciling over the top of this, so we may do some of that, I think, just for a bit of fun and to change it up a little bit. Now I'm going to stencil it, and I'm going to use my circle stencil because it's one of my favourites, and I can't help myself. Every time I want to do something I want to use this one, and I think maybe I'll do it in that crushed olive actually. Maybe I should do it in a brown. Yeah, I think I'll do some brown over the top. Let me find this one. That's a distress ink. I'm actually going to use the oxide. The oxide will cover, and this is ground espresso. And I will also use my brush again as opposed to a sponge. And you'll see when I put this on, I should hopefully be getting some little brown circles throughout it. I'm going to go into these smaller ones, a bit hard and heavy, and then sort of taper it off to the edges. Do some bigger ones on here. Take it through here. I like these little dots. I find the circular motion is the best to kind of work through these, particularly with these tiny dots that are on here. I think you get a nice sort of look through them. Now I will take that off and see what's happened. There you go. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I like that. I like the darker tone of the brown over the top of the colours that I've done. And you can still see the patches where I've taken some of that oxide off and where I've let it sort of basically oxidize. You can still see those patches. If you have makeup sponges like this, they're just like any makeup sponge. If you're not happy with how clean that's coming, you can just use some water and some really gentle soap to clean it, or even the specialized bottles. Like I've got a bottle of stuff that I clean my makeup sponges with. You can use that on these as well because they're just a makeup sponge, and the more you use them, the more the ink gets right deep into the fibers. It's just like your makeup, you need to clean them occasionally. I mean, I've never cleaned these, but I don't use them constantly. I use my other sponge surface, sponge things to go in like this normally. It's just I thought today I would try, and get that softer look, particularly on the stone paper. And I quite like how that's looking now. It's bright, but it's not bright because remember that this is going on this journal here, which is more of a male sort of based journal. So I don't want it to look too pretty. And I think I'll probably do some stamping on it as well once I finish both pages. And also remember that if you're using something like this, it's good to do back and front. You need to do both sides of the paper. I'll put this aside to dry though, because I'm feeling under there and I can feel that that is damp. So if you put it aside and let it dry before you go in on the other side. Now this is a bit messy on the other side, but I think it'll be fine. And I think I'll just pop that to one side, and then I'll do this other one here. Now sometimes I thought there were two papers here, but there's not. It's just really, really thick. And it also says on here that it's actually machine washable. So like they've made a bag here, and they say, I've never put it in my machine, they say that it is machine washable. So you could always go and wash it in your machine if you had made something like a bag or whatever out of it. But I don't know about that, so you'd have to test that out for yourself. What I do know is that it's hard to rip. You can see, like if you've got a little piece like this, you can rip it. It will rip, but when it's just like this, if I just try and rip that, it's like super hard to rip. It will rip eventually, but you'd have to work at it. Before I go, I'll just show you the next lot of Happy Mail that's going out. And if you haven't got your name on the list, then please send me an email, get in touch through Instagram, on Facebook, whatever, to give me your details. So these are 2 vintage cards, and these came from the steamroller packs. So they're actually similar to the cigarette cards, but they're actually collectibles and they're very old. They're very vintagey, those ones. And also I've got this, which is one of the vintage lotto cards, and it's in pretty green. I've got an old bingo card. So this is what you get if you go and play bingo. This is, 6 games, and you buy this piece and mark it off as you call the numbers, but they're really good for junk journals as well. I've got a tag that I've made with some paper and some tissue. I'm also putting this in. So this is a little opening up, just a different way of doing a little closed pocket that I did in one of my videos, and I thought it might be nice to sort of give that away. And this actually comes out. I'll just try and get that out for you. It doesn't seem to want to come out now. I'm just doing it wrong, I think. There you go, that's come out now. And then it opens up. So you've got 2 little tags, and then this comes down like this. And then I put a piece of tea-dyed paper in there, tea-dyed copy paper. So that all goes back together like that, and then you just slide that in there and then pull it down, and then these open up to hold it all closed. So you'll get that. Then I've got this little thing that I've made just with one of the Tim Holtz paper dolls, just a little journaling spot to go in something. This is a page from a hatch log, so it's actually bigger than A4. It's quite large, this one. And this is a shipping log that was from a ship in Brisbane from the MacArthur Shipping Company. So you'll get one of those. Then I did this little piece. So this could be a nice little thing to put some photos in or to journal in. And I was just sort of doing some test pieces on this. So I was going to keep that for myself, but I thought, why not put it in here? I also have one of the old envelopes, competition envelopes, and this one is dated 8th of December 1980 that was sent, so you'll get that. I've got a few more little cards. I've got another one of those steamroller ones. I've got a couple of little bird ones that I got when I was in Amsterdam, so they have Dutch on the back of them, and they're just little, I guess they're some sort of budgie or something, I don't know, budgies I think. I've got this little pocket. I'd probably put all the little tags in there, so a little pocket. Then I've got some chipboard. So I've got 2 of these ones, which are the cotton reels, and then 2 of the mannequins. I've also got this, which is from, I think it's Imaginarium. Yeah, here's another one, A Moment in Time, that one. And I've got a fair few of these, and I'm just not using them, so time to move them on. Then I have this one. So this is what I did the other day to make a faux cabinet card. I quite liked that one, but I thought I'll give it away. I may as well. Again, I have so much. I did these the other day as well. This has actually got a pocket in here. I don't have anything in that pocket, and with the tag, and then you can put another pocket at the back when you stick it into your journal if you want to. So that's going in there. And this is another one that I did where it's a pocket page. So it actually comes down like that, and you can sew it into your signature, and it's got some vintage paper and a few other bits and some stamping on it. So that's from an old magazine. You probably remember me doing that one recently. Then I've got 2 of these. These are one of the Roxy challenges as well, and these are the little tag things, so you can sit them on the edge of a page in your journal. You can cut them down. They've got a bit of ribbon and these little gorgeous little birds there. I have also got some glassine envelopes, so a couple of little ones, 3 of the larger ones, and then finally I've got these, which are the fancy edge cards. But if you look back at my videos, you'll see I've actually used these as a journaling spot just by folding them and decorating them, so you could use them as that as well. So a couple of things I've made, some vintage stuff, and then a few little new things. So that pile will be going out to somebody who's on my Happy Mail list. So if it's you and you receive it, I appreciate if you could let me know so I actually know it's made it to its new home. And hopefully you can use them. If you can't use them, you can give them away, whatever you want to do with them. Once you get them, it's up to you whether you want to use them or re-gift them. I don't really mind either way. And hopefully you'll find something in there that you like and that you can put in your junk journal. So for now, this is Deborah. Thanks for watching. Cheers.